Yo, 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 what up? This is Scoozy, and I'm back with a brand new episode from the PrimeFools server. Now, this is Foolcraft 2, and this is my messy little workshop. You see, my plan to avoid a cluttered base was to have this workshop saying right over here, and then the base over there. But I spend all my time over here, and I just keep setting up these crazy machine contraptions and crowding myself in, and I got this little tiny area that I can work in, and it's getting ridiculous. So we need to get working on the base over there so we can get rid of this monstrosity, mess-tacular situation that we have going on here. So since the last episode when we worked on that mob farm right there, I've done a little bit of work. I've been upgrading the applied energistics storage system so that we are now operating on solely 64K drives, which means we can now store just a crazy amount of stuff. But the thing that I did realize about these storage cells is that no matter whether you're using 64K or a 1K, you still can only store 63 different types of items on each storage cell. So as you can see, most of these things here are just around halfway full, probably a little less than halfway full. And yet most of them are pretty close to being full of the amount of types of items that they can store. And that's an interesting thing to keep in mind when you're working on your storage system. Like, are you building one that you want to be able to store bulk amounts of a few items that you're farming, or do you want to be able to store all the stuff you're getting out of like loot bags and stuff like that? Because if so, you probably want to stick to like maybe like 16K storage components. So each one of these you could get 3 storage components if you're using 16K, and there's a decent chance that you still would have enough space for quantity of those types of items. So definitely keep that in mind when you're setting up your storage system. Also down here I have added this to supplement our power generation. So right now we are full. We have 50 million RF. We have I can never get this drum to work, and I'm not entirely sure why. I have this thing set to in and out, so that it can fill up there with excess. But see, this thing is full now, and they're still being milked, I assume, by the mechanical user. Maybe not. Maybe the bucket is stuck in here. Yeah, because it's full. It's waiting to dump this bucket. So this thing is now basically shut off. It's at capacity. And I think that's because I have 3, I believe it's 3 refined fuel cows in there. Maybe it's only 2. It just looks like 2. But yeah, they're providing all of the refined fuel that is powering these 4 compression dynamos, which need water cooling. And that is giving us quite a bit of power, enough to run our whole base and keep this thing stockpiled, run our farming station over here, if I can get out of the trees. This farming station here, which is farming us up some Certus Quartz essence, so that we can use that to make all of the things that we need for applied energistics. So that is all pretty much ready to go. We also have this thing I built here, which is my toast sandwich making machine. So basically I have a little row here on the farming station that's not Certus Quartz, it's wheat. And this thing is getting bones from here. The crafter's making bone meal, sending it into the farming station. It's helping to grow the wheat. Wheat gets pulled in through this chest into this one here, which makes it into bread first, and then turns the bread into toast using the bakeware, and then makes me a toast sandwich and outputs that into here. So my food of choice this season, if you remember, is that going to open? Are we lagging or did I miss it? Yeah, there we go. Is the toast sandwich. And now this thing should make it for us automatically, which is pretty sweet. So let's go over here where the base is underway. I haven't done a whole lot. I'm really sorry. I did start working here a little bit, testing out some ideas. And we were working with basalt, and then I figured out how to use the sky stone block properly. You got to cook it like as if it was cobblestone, and then you can make these bricks. And then there's also some big tiles like a smooth andesite style block. And there is also some smaller bricks, and then you can do the smooth stone slab or stone brick slab variants, and they look really cool. So in here is where I started to do some work on cow processing. So we have, let me see here. These ones are all liquid cows. I'm going to build them a separate room. But these are all ones, all of my cows that you can turn their drops into blocks. So we are going to set up cells like this, which are using a mechanical user to basically farm the cow and then fill blocks, and these will all be connected up to a system to pull the blocks out. But for right now, it's just doing its thing, and it's at a bottleneck point right now. But I think I do like this design. I got a sea lantern up there for some light, and then a little bit of, it's called gelid cryothium, because it's got a nice bright blue color, and I want that to be some sort of like a cooling fluid or something involved in the process of this machine that is taking resources out of the cows. So we're using just factory blocks and then this chiseled glass, and I think it looks pretty good together. I know green and orange maybe not necessarily the best combination, but I like that for my little pop of color. And then the rest is rust or white and black. So I think this is what I'm going to roll with for now. I might play around with the back wall a bit. Perhaps try to work out some other blocks that I can put in there to vary it up, because right now I don't really like the way these tiles contrast with this. I'm okay with the border, but I'm open to change that as well. So yeah, I'm going to continue this that way, and I'm probably going to do, let's see, one of these Hermitrons is 27, and so we have 24 cows left to fill in, which would be 26 total. So I'm probably going to do like 15 on each side. That'll give us enough room for 30 cows. And I mean, realistically, after this thing runs for a day or two, we're not going to need any of this stuff anymore, I don't think. Yeah, there's no way we can go through that many resources. I set up like a little tester over, let me see here, over here that I've been doing to get things like iron, because I needed iron for building stuff. And I've filled this chest already, get out of here, already with iron blocks twice, I think. So we are set for things like iron, so it doesn't take long. And yeah, we'll basically just run it until the storage system we set up for it is full, and then it should not be able to produce any more unless we take some out. So that'll be pretty cool. So I'm going to get to work building this, like just repeating this pattern over and over and over again, and also going out on the hunt for sea lanterns, because I only have one more on me, and we are going to need like 30 more, like half a stack more. So I'm going to go around and try to hit up those astral sorcery fountains, because they have the sea lanterns right in the top of them. So I'm going to do a bit of work here, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we're back, and I have all of my cells in now, except for the one piece of glass, and that's just so I can pop my cows in from the animal nets, and then put the last block of glass in to seal in their fate. I didn't finish the walls because I'm really torn about this white. I think that it might be too stark. Just too much of a contrast between that and the black. So I'm kind of thinking of, as I was saying upstairs, leaning towards the sandstone. It kind of goes pretty well with the borders on the glass. It picks up a bit of the yellow that's in this rusty block, and I think overall it might be better than the white, but I'm not sure. So what I want you to do is let me know down in the comments whether you like the white better or the sandstone better, or maybe you know of a different block that I'm not aware of that falls somewhere in between, because I would like something that's a little less yellow than the sandstone, but definitely a little dirtier of a color than the white marble. So if you know of something in between, that would be great. But if not, let me know. White or sandstone, marble, sandstone, sandstone, marble. So I wanted to show you real quick how I am setting up this system here. So do I have any blocks? I got some cobblestone. That's good. So I'm going to put some cobblestone here, and that's just so I can. This is the worst part. I should really put a floor in for this. There we go. And then we need a fluid tank. And so basically, we have our mechanical user here. We have a bucket in the top left slot. So we want this to only use the upper left slot. We want to do a right click, but not generic click. We want to go and use entity. So this will use this on an entity, which is our cow. So that is good there. And then we need an item conduit. Did I bring any of those? No, I brought the fluid conduits, of course. All right, let me get. Oh, I'm flying way too fast. There we go. Item conduits, and I'll put that there. Now, once you configure one of these fluid tanks and then put it back in your inventory, it doesn't stack. I'm sure there's a way I can clear it, but that's why I have some single ones just floating around. Okay, so we will place the item conduit there. On the top, what you want to do is have it on in and out, because we need the bucket to come out when it's full and go back in when it's empty. So on the insert setting, we want to go ahead and grab an item filter, pop it in there. So inserting into the mechanical user, we want to blacklist or whitelist empty buckets. So the only thing that we'll put into the mechanical user from below is empty buckets, which is perfect. You change it over to the extract setting, and all we want to take out of the mechanical user are full buckets. So we will blacklist white buckets from coming out of there. So basically that's going to tell this tube here, only put in empty buckets, only take out full buckets. Okay? And now it doesn't matter what cow we put in there, it will work. So we can swap these out at a later date, rearrange them, and we don't have to go in and worry that our filters are keyed specifically. I think we're just lagging a bit here. There we go. So if we don't want to have this so that it's set specifically to the fluid that the cow's in, because then you have to come down and change it if you need to move your cows or change them, or maybe you've decided I have enough of a certain resource. Where are we getting shot at from? The arrow's there. That was probably back there somewhere. Anyways, getting to sidetracked here. So yeah, this way we won't have to change anything up down here in the future if we want to swap out cows. The only thing we may have to come down here and do is void the fluid tank and the casting basin if, for instance, one of them has a little bit of fluid in it but not enough to make a full block. We'll have to come and empty it out before we can use it for something new. So next up, we want to switch to the fluid conduit, because at that point, all that's going to be in this tank is fluid, not the item, which was the bucket of fluid. So we'll place an a fluid conduit there, and then attach our casting basin. Now, a little tip: if you're ever trying to place blocks that you would normally have to shift click while you're flying, obviously shift is going to drop. So what you want to do is use the spacebar and shift at the same time, and then you'll basically crouch in the sky without sinking. So that's just a little tip for you that I've managed to figure out. So on this one here, we want to change this to extract, and always active, which reminds me, we'll put this to insert. We're going to go back here like this, in and out, on the extract, you're going to have to make that always active. And then on this one, we need to change it to in and out because it's going to put the buckets in and take them out when they're empty. So we do basically the exact opposite here. On the insert, we want to blacklist empty buckets. And then on the extract, we will change that to always active, and we want to whitelist empty buckets. So that's saying that the only thing you're going to take out of here are empty buckets, and the only thing that you can put in here are buckets that aren't empty. Perfect. So this should be working absolutely fine, tip-top. The only thing it needs now is a cow. So what I will do is I'm going to put in, geez, I don't know, 25, 26 more of these, configure them all, and then I'll come back and we'll do the next step together. Alright, so all of the collection areas underneath are ready to go. They're all configured. Oh, yep. I do that all the time. It takes forever for my entering to kick in, and then I crash into the water. So, all of these are configured and ready to go. I have a floor here that I can walk on now. They all have their item filters in place, all that stuff. And then here I have included a little power setup and an applied Energistics storage system. Got our ME drive. I only have a 16K storage because, well, I don't think I'm going to need more than that. And if I do, I can just add like one more. But that should cover everything that's being made in this room because that is the only thing that will be stored in this storage system are the blocks that I collect from these cows. So I got that refined fuel cow in there, some compression dynamos around him, and then I just have some factory blocks to kind of make this a little more power generator-y. And I have my ME crafting terminal in the floor here. I don't know if I'm going to do that or up front. I need to figure out how to make the facades for this because they don't use the standard conduit facade. So I'm not entirely sure what to use on those. Or if they do use the conduit facade, I couldn't figure it out. So I'll need to do some sort of work here to make that blend in. And then obviously the wall in the back needs to be done, but we are waiting on your decision on sandstone or marble. So all that is left now to get this thing up and running is to put these cows into these slots and then seal them in, and then it should start producing resources for us. So what I'm going to do is I will go off camera, put all of the cows in here, and then I will AFK for 1 hour, and we will see how many resources I can get together in 1 hour, and I'll come back and I'll show you that, and we'll wrap up the episode. Alright, for me this is the next day. Last night I was going to do my AFK session, and then I realized I didn't want to stay awake for another hour. So what I did was I just didn't have this thing set to insert. So basically it could not, the item conduit couldn't take any of the blocks out of any of the chests or the casting basins and put them anywhere. So I left it overnight, and then I came in this morning and I set a timer and put this to insert. And then I spent an hour reworking all of the conduits and positioning of everything on this power generator, because these dynamos are really, they're really silly. They're very particular about where they take their water fuel from and where they output their power. So I have that now. As you can see, it's all kind of wanky and hidden by conduit facades. Now the problem that I have are these transparent conduit facades. They make the conduit invisible, but not the fluid that's inside of it. Now I don't know if that's something I'm doing wrong or if that's just the way it is, but to me, if you have a transparent conduit facade, you are trying to hide the fluid conduits and the fluid that the conduits are transporting. This to me looks really bad. I would rather just have the conduit's fully visible, I think. So if you know how to fix this, please do let me know, because that's kind of a pain in the butt. But anyways, let's check out what we got. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So some of the things we got like 140, 160 of. Other things on the low end are only at about 70. But even 70 blocks an hour um, means that I put a chunk loader in this part of the base, and tomorrow we'll have more of any of this than we need. One thing that I'm kind of annoyed at now that I'm just noticing is this is hardened clay. So I have a clay cow, and I assumed that it would produce like the clay blocks that you would make from clay balls that you could then turn into hardened clay, but that you could also use for other things like grout or binder conduit. That's kind of an annoyance. I really, I don't know what to do about that. But as you can see now, we're building up a stockpile of just about everything, so that's pretty amazing. And we'll see down here how our storage drive is doing. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so see, we were only at like just about 3,000 of 16,000, so I might have to put in maybe another one of these 16K, but 21 of 63 types. So that's what I was talking about before with these drives. If you want bulk, you go with the big ones. If you want a variety, you go with the small ones. So I'll make another 16K or maybe two and throw them in there. But I think for now, this project is done. I also put in some sound mufflers. I don't know how well they're working. I don't know if they have to be on the same level as the noise, like up here. But I don't want to do that because they're kind of ugly. And I tried. There's no way to paint them. So I think until I hear back from everybody about whether we like the white marble walls or the sandstone walls, this cow production facility is done. Pretty awesome. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about dealing with cows and the setting up of mechanical users and all of that stuff. And if you did, be sure to go down below and thumb wrestle that like button to show some support. Lets us know that you're really enjoying Foolcraft 2 on the PrimeFools server, and that we should continue making these videos. If you're new around here and you want to see more projects like this, or you want to see what we're doing in the base coming up in the future, be sure to subscribe, and then you'll get notifications when I upload my new videos. Yeah, I think next episode we will sort out this farm, because it runs faster than we can deal with right now. So I need to set up an automatic like loot bag opening system, and I think that might involve moving our storage system over here. Maybe. We'll think about that next episode. And I also want to work on a sheep farm just for fun, because they, I think, will be pretty easy to make and modded, and I want to see what that entails. So please come back next time if you're interested in that. And until then, this is Scoozy, and I'm saying peace.